What if Naruto had his parents' knowledge and experience? Part 3. Disclaimer: I don't own Naruto nor this what if. A month later and Shikamaru was still sure that his reaction was the right one. Naruto was a slave driver. His job as the assistant didn't make it any easier. He was still on the team, but he hasn't seen them this month. They were banned from missions over D and they didn't need him for that. So here he was getting Naruto his favorite tea. He had learned a lot over the month, but he also did all kinds of housework for Naruto. His Fuuin jutsu skills had grown rapidly and his body condition is getting better with each passing day. He had a full-grown six-pack now. His shoulders and chest looked more defined under his t-shirt. Taijutsu didn't change that much, mostly because Naruto didn't teach it often. Genjutsu was completely forgotten, as Naruto had no talent for it at all. His ninjutsu though, it was getting better and better with time. Naruto said that his shadow controlling jutsu was perfect for making seals without ink and paper. His training mostly consisted of chakra control and the fine control of the shadow possession jutsu. He was pretty proud of his first new seal. It makes a large area completely dark for a short time. He didn't need more thought, as he can use it to bind the enemy. Shikamaru, I will get us some food. You better learn that seal until I'm back. Yeah, this was also one of the things Naruto did. He always got them lunch and they would take a break and talk about things that were on their mind. It was one of the most interesting things. Naruto had changed a lot during the 2 years. He was more mature and his view of the world always amazed him. All in all, he could say that he loved his life. He had someone that could understand him. Naruto also helped him with his own seals, something that made him always happy. Seals are some kind of puzzle for him. It was fun to solve them and it would reward you by doing so. They also were powerful weapons. He knew that he wasn't the best shinobi out there. He had realized how much he had to learn, but he was sure that seals would make him stronger. Naruto was teaching him some kind of barrier seal right now. It was a pretty strong one and it took way too much chakra. He knows that even if he learned that, he could only use it one time before his chakra is drawn out. Though he didn't question Naruto, he had full trust that Naruto taught him the right things. Naruto was his friend. He could even say best friend. There was always a reason why Naruto taught him something and he fully trusted him. Earth on Shikamaru, someone in there, he heard, as Naruto knocked his head down a little. I got us takoyaki, I hope you are finished, Naruto said, looking over his shoulder. He sighed as he saw Naruto's disapproving face and waited for the lecture. We will work on that later, let us eat now, we have to talk about something Kakashi wants. Shikamaru sat down by Naruto. It was a small dining table. They were by Naruto at home. It was lovely and large enough for seal work. And what is it that Kakashi wants? Shikamaru asked, as took his first bite. He wants to enter U3 to the next Chunin exam in a week. I think it's way too early, but he was very stubborn. Here is the form you need to sign if you want to enter, Naruto said, handing him a paper. The question is, do you want to enter? How troublesome. I think that's the best for now. If I become Chunin, then I will be able to leave the team permanently. It will make our work far easier and give us more time together, Shikamaru answered. And here I thought that you hated to work that much, but you love the time with me, don't you? Naruto asked with a sly laugh. Troublesome, Shikamaru said, hiding his blush. Okay, I will help to prepare you. First, we will finish this barrier seal, then I will show you a seal of mine. It's one of the reasons I'm so powerful. You better keep it a secret or being over my knee is something you will wish for, understood? A slightly pale Shikamaru looked back at Naruto. He was going to learn one of the legendary seals, at least he called them that. He couldn't help but smile though. Naruto deemed him trustworthy enough to give him one of his seals. It said that he was strong enough to protect himself. I asked, understood? Naruto repeated with an annoyed tone. Yes, master. This was their new title now. It come up as Shiner run by and called Naruto sensei, so he started to call him master to make the difference. It didn't seem to bother him and he never complained, so it should be okay. You must have seen that the barrier seal takes way too much chakra from you. I will give you a seal that can store chakra. It was revolutionary. Something this powerful shouldn't exist. Shikamaru now knows why Naruto didn't want to talk about this seal freely. It was way too powerful. Chakra was in 50% of all fights the deciding factor to win, and that under equal strong ninjas, with the ability to store chakra, there was no limit to how many S-rank jutsus someone used. He could pump more chakra in his shadow possession jutsu to make it faster and stronger, a new world of possibilities. He will definitely make shunin with it, or at least to the final rounds. I will be careful and only use it to support my other skills. I will make sure that nobody finds out. It was all he could say to help Naruto. I know that you are fully aware, just what kind of power that is, so I will not lecture you about it. I trust you as my friend with it. We both know that anybody can reach the strength of a cage with it, Naruto said. Thanks, Naruto. I will make sure that you don't regret it. Good. I will draw the seal on your chest. He didn't have to say more. Shikamaru eagerly took his shirt off. Naruto noted that his chest really had filled out. He looked a lot better like this, no longer skin and bones. No, in front of him was a young man. His six-pack and chest muscles were accompanied by back muscles and shoulders. He couldn't help but tease his friend a little. Ah, if I knew that this is all it takes for you to strip. Shikamaru's entire body went red, but he didn't say anything. He knows that Naruto had his fun playing with him and that reacting only made it worse. Here is a new lesson, Naruto said, as he summoned a glass bottle with red liquid. The highest quality for ink is your own blood. You have to fill it with your chakra until it can't absorb more, Naruto said, as he took the bottle and set it in front of Shikamaru. He could feel the chakra radiating from the blood. What kind of brush is the best? Shikamaru asked eagerly. No brush is the best option. A brush will contaminate the ink. No, I will use my chakra to control the blood, Naruto said and demonstrated it. His hand raised and with it the blood. Shikamaru sat still. He didn't move at all. He could see how the blood slowly formed a seal on his chest. It was big. As it reached his stomach, the seal, to his amazement, vanished as Naruto finished. It will be better when nobody sees it. Make sure to still cover it. Who knows who might watch you. The following week just flew by. Naruto taught him all he had to know for the seal. They also worked at the barrier and his shadow control with extra chakra. The results were astronomical. His shadow had doubled the speed now. The barrier was strong enough to protect him from two of Naruto's wolves for a minute, which means it's more than enough for the Chunin exam. You two are late, Shikamaru said to Sakura and Sasuke. The two just came into the academy. They looked a bit annoyed. We were waiting for you outside, Baka. Sakura answered. How should we know that someone as lazy as you would come before us? She just continued complaining. Working for Naruto changes things for you. Sasuke looked even more annoyed now. He knew that the other boy wanted to learn from Naruto. Naruto also gave him the reason why he didn't take Sasuke. The guy should really work on his attitude. Let's move up. We don't want to be late, Sakura called. The other two just silently followed. They passed a genjutsu. Sasuke, to his irritation, revealed it. Taking competition wasn't his thing, it seemed. They almost got into a fight because of that. To his luck, a guy in a green spandex jumpsuit came out and stopped it. The green guy, Rock Lee, then challenged Sasuke, but this wasn't his problem. He made his way to the real room 301. Kakashi greeted him a bit hesitant, but relaxed as he heard that others were on their way. He just went into the room. For now, he got some strange looks from the other teams for being alone. Shikamaru, where is your team? Ino said, greeting him. They're coming, no worries, Ino. He looked over her shoulder to see Chaji and Ken. That would have been his team, but he was too dumb to learn, probably for the exam. Now he was stuck with Lord Imo and Nabanshi. Ken, Chaji, he greeted with a small wave. Shikamaru, my friend, you are still growing this fast? No fair, Ken said with a pout. The guy was nice. He was from a civilian family, thought he was really good in ninjutsu and taijutsu. The guy was a bit whiny. He was one of the smallest back in class. He was a head taller than Sasuke, which means that he was a head and a half taller than Ken. He could literally look down at the guy in the small pouting face. Mama, there is nothing wrong with your height. Stop your whining, it doesn't suit a ninja. Shikamaru said as he ruffled Ken's hair. The other boy, of course, pouted even more at his action. "Hey guys, you are here too." The yell could be heard in the entire room. It was of course Kiba. The guy was way too loud for this kind of job. With him were his teammates Shino and Hinata. Hinata was a very shy girl. He didn't know if she had it in her to kill someone. Shino was one of the few people he really liked. He was quiet and extremely rational. Just then the door opened and his teammates and the team of Rock Lee came in. Sasuke looked a little beat and was in an even more emo mood, so he probably lost to Green Guy. It wasn't a second later that Ino was all over Sasuke. Sakura of course couldn't let that happen. She did the only thing that she was capable of, yelling at her. Shikamaru saw a boy with silver hair and glasses staring at them. He had the Konoha headband, but that didn't mean that he wasn't an enemy. It seemed that the guy wanted something because he slowly made his way over. Thought before the guy could talk, the door opened and Naruto came in. He and his classmates stiffened but got into position Naruto taught them. They were lined up in 4 lines. Most of the room was staring at them now. Thought this doesn't concern them, because Naruto looked pissed. The only other village genins who seemed to know Naruto was Kumo. It seemed they had 2 brave souls. They wanted to attack, but their teammates held them back. "I know I only taught you for a week, but I thought that I made it clear to be quiet." "Ino, Kiba, is there a reason for all this noise?" Naruto asked in his normal calm tone, but everybody could hear him. The room had grown silent. Kiba was trying to hide behind Shino. "I will make this clear now. You are representing our village. You better give it your all or I will be waiting for you," Naruto said, turning to Sakura. "If I hear you raise your voice again for something like this, then I will make sure to seal it away. We understand us?" His tone was sickly sweet and teams of the other villages paled with them. "Yes sir," Sakura whispered back. "Good, good. I hope you all haven't forgotten what I taught you," Naruto said, turning to leave. He looked one last time over his shoulder. He will not be here for the week they fight, but he had faith in Shikamaru to survive. He got an important mission from the Hokage. It had something to do with the new village of Sound. They think that it might have something to do with Orochimaru, so he had to go since Jiraiya wasn't back yet. Week later, Naruto was frustrated. He didn't get any information about the village. It was clear that he was noticeable, but they immediately shut up when he was around. Now he was sitting home and was listening to how Shikamaru's exam was so far. At least his assistant had brought food and tea. It seemed that the first part of the exam was about information gathering and will. He would probably have failed this part. How ironic, the village's strongest ninja wouldn't make it Chunin. Sure, he could design a seal for that, but that needed time. What was shit thought was this exam. Ninjas always had their specializations. He will talk about it in the council meeting in 6 months for the next exam. The second exam was some kind of survival test, the best test so far. They had to reach the tower in the middle of the infamous Forest of Death. On the way they had to get a second scroll. There were an Earth and a Heaven scroll and you needed both of them. The interesting part was that Orochimaru had attacked them. He even left a curse seal, Hiki, on Sasuke. He would have destroyed it, but Kakashi already used a containment seal. It wasn't the best, as it depended on Sasuke's emotions. He couldn't destroy it now though, because the containment seal is also a barrier. It will take some time for him to decode both seals. Orochimaru's own itself was already hard. The third event in this exam was a 1-in-1 to reduce the numbers before the real battle in the arena. It seemed that Shikamaru didn't even need to show his new speed and strength in the battle. Kiba didn't seem to have changed at all. As the boys straight up rushed at Shikamaru, their shadows connected and that was his end. What an embarrassment for Konoha. Sasuke's fight seemed to be only fighting with his taijutsu because of the curse mark. The boy won, but it was really close. The fight between Ino and Sakura was a pure embarrassment for the whole of Konoha, fighting like children and that even at a low level. On the other hand, the fight between Rock Lee and Gaara seemed to be a really interesting one. The green boy had the talent to open this many doors at this young age. It's a pity that his legs are hurt to this extent. He would have made a good Chunin. Denton, the girl with her specialization in weapons, She is one of the best in her discipline, but you need more to be a Chunin. The fight between Ken and the Oto girl was also over pretty fast. She is specialized in Senjutsu but fell for Ken's Jinjutsu. It was the same for Shino. The other Oto guy thought that his sound jutsu was so up, but Shino outplayed him. The other fights were nothing important, so Shikamaru didn't tell him more about them, and with that, we have a whole month before the final battle at the arena begins. A whole month was enough time to make 1 or 2 new seals for Shikamaru, so to summon it up, our village's future ninjas are all lacking real skill. Naruto knew that it wasn't the whole truth, but still, he was disappointed in this generation. No, all future ninjas lack skill. That is what happens when we grow up in peace. These skills, like your father had, don't just come from nowhere. No, they were created because they were necessary. Our life was peaceful while growing up. Of course, the girls cared more about their crush than jutsus. Yeah, that made sense and he knows that, but hearing it from Shikamaru made it even worse. These exams represent the future of each village. Sunagakure is having a good time right now. All of their candidates are strong, the other villages are all average. Konoha, though, it's a disaster. Naruto thought out loud. I know, the older generations will not live forever and their performance will decrease with each year. Shikamaru said, that's what I'm saying. Even Kakashi is completely out of shape. One of our best ninjas was beaten by an A-class 1. Yeah, this memory made both of them worried. So what will you do? You have already titled to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest ninja out there. Shikamaru was sure that Naruto would be Hokage one day, and when that day arrives, will be the day that he stands beside him. The problem was that this day could arrive anytime soon. Naruto is extremely powerful and intelligent. The third Hokage already favors him and that man was getting old. I'm very positive that I'm the strongest ninja living, but that doesn't matter. In our world, death can happen anytime and Konoha will be done the moment I die. Now it may be stable, but our future generations are really disappointing. This is why you will be representing Konoha in the finals with overwhelming power. Naruto looked serious as he said that, but how? Sure, he was stronger than most genins, but it wasn't strong enough to place Wari in other nations, even with a chakra storing seal. It's not possible for me to place fear into these old geezers. What was Naruto planning? He had an IQ that outdid everyone in the village and he still couldn't read his master's thoughts. We will make 2 new seals. We will focus on eye-catching jutsus. It's true that it is hard with the oldies. The younger one says thought. We will create an image of a monster. You will represent death itself. You will be standing beside me on equal terms after we are finished with you. Now this made Shikamaru happy, but it made him even more curious. What kind of seal is Naruto thinking of? It must be something that only he could come up with. The first seal will be to summon armor and weapon. The second will be some kind of teleportation. The older ninjas all respected and feared my father for his higher Shinjutsu. What will happen? They see you teleport. It would clearly make him powerful and even the older generation would fear the jutsu he would have. It would be a good plan. The question is, are we able to do it? The smirk on Naruto's face was all the confirmation he needed. It was only a week and he was already tired. Naruto had him store his whole chakra into the seal each day. He also had to store a huge amount of blood away, which made him extremely tired. Sure, he knew that blood was the best tank, but it was so much. If they continued like this, then he won't be able to draw a seal on the whole arena ground with it. He couldn't complain. Thought. Naruto was giving him an enormous amount of power and trust. He will be one of the top Chunin in Konoha if he had this seals. He could even get Jonin if he mastered them. Right now he was sitting outside a hot spring and studied a seal, while he constantly stored his chakra away. Naruto had told him to wait here while he took a bath. Okay, the truth was that Naruto had asked him to join him, but he was too embarrassed. He doesn't want to be in front of Naruto's perfect body, with his own. He will wait until had trained more, which brought him to this situation. The seal was extremely difficult to understand. He wasn't even sure what each part meant. It looked so different compared to the seals he had seen before. He could make out that it's something to do with illusion and his clan jutsu. The other parts thought, maybe a materialization or manifestation. Here I come to spy on some pretty woman. only to find such a high-class seal. Shikamaru instantly jumped away, taking the scroll with him. Standing there was a middle-aged man with white hair and a funny face. "Boy, where did you get the seal from?" He wasn't sure how he should answer. He didn't know that Konoha had someone that could understand seals besides Naruto. "This is none of your business. Who the hell are you?" What happened next was a great embarrassment to see. This awkward dance just to tell him that this guy was one of the legendary 3 Sannin. That of course if the guy didn't lie to him. The old man took a step forward, but jumped back as Shikamaru's shadow came at him in exceptional speed. The guy at least had the head skill to dodge that. "Stay away from me. Nobody verified your identity. Do you really think that I would trust you just like this? Boy, the seal is way too precious to be in your hands." The Sannin took a step forward again, but had to dodge multiple shadows. The boy was extremely talented for an aura. Splitting his shadow is pretty difficult. "You have no authority over me. Step down or I will attack," Shikamaru said as he already formed a seal with his shadow. "Boy, you have something that you don't understand." He was cut off. "I understand perfectly well what I hold. Last warning, retreat or I will attack." That was really something. The thought that a brat was threatening him was funny. Let's see what the boy can do. The Sannin dashed directly at Shikamaru, but was blocked by a barrier. It surprised him that the boy had a barrier strong enough to block him. It was a cube with a length of 2 meters in all directions. The shadow around the boy started to move into a seal. What a talent! He should take this kid as a student. Uzumaki seal. Complete darkness. The moment he heard the boy whisper the words, was the moment the entire sky turned black. The darkness only lasted for a second, but he didn't realize that he couldn't move until it was too late. He of course knew the shadow binding technique of the Nara clan, but why was it that he couldn't break it with his large amount of chakra? He was sure that the boy didn't have that much chakra. "For me to bind the maybe legendary Sannin is really funny. You have underestimated me and now you are paying the price. I will call the police, they will arrest you and find out who you are." The next thing surprised him as the boy connected his shadow with that of the tree besides him. It was the first time that he saw an Aura do something like this. They could manipulate their shadows like they wanted, but using the shadow of a tree so that he can move freely is truly amazing. Speaking of which, where is the boy? Shikamaru is gone to get the police. He would have jumped from the shock, but sadly he was bound. It didn't take long for the other boy to step before him. Thought, "What a surprise to see you, Godfather." Naruto was angry at him and he could understand why. The boy looked so much like his father, and from what he heard he was also as powerful as his father. "Hey there Naruto." He couldn't think of more than that. It seemed that Naruto didn't really care as he calmly sat down in front of him. "One of the legendary Sannin taken down by a breath. I'm sure you could escape, but you would destroy the arena around you if you did. You never showed up in my life once, but you want to steal my seal the moment you return." Jiraiya was ashamed. He, as the spy master, of course know that Naruto was a seal master. Who would have thought that the boy had such a talent for seals? He is way better than he thought. He know a lot about his godson. He was known through all nations. The young boy who flooded Kumagakure, the boy who fought the Raikage and many high-ranking Jonin, that was when he was 8. Who knows how strong he is now? He wasn't sure if he could beat him. He should have known that it was Naruto's seal. Who else could create something like this? He couldn't even figure out what it did. The lines were uneven and strange. It was something that he hadn't seen in a long time. Kushina had a seal like this, thought her seal was way smaller. Nothing to say? Or is it that you know that it was mine and just wanted to see how good I'm? He couldn't answer thoughts as the brat and the police came back. He could clearly see on the face of the police officer that he recognized him. "Please arrest this guy, the council will decide what will happen to him." The officer moved without a word and took him away. It was surprising as the guy didn't even ask what he did wrong. "We're out of sight, you can let me go now." It surprised him even more as the officer only sighed. "Jiraiya, you shouldn't have looked at Namikaze-san's seal. All people know that it is a clan secret and stealing it is a major crime." "How should I have known that? The seal wasn't even with Naruto. This Nara kid had it. How come that the boy isn't charged?" The policeman laughed at that. "You mean Shikamaru, the future Nara clan head? He is Namikaze-san's assistant. You shouldn't pick a fight with them. One is too powerful, the other too smart. Both of them have political power and know how to use it. I for myself will not anger them, the officer said. So you would rather anger me? The answer was obvious as the man just continued to bring him to the police station. The next day, okay, we have only 3 weeks left. Today we will start with the first seal. It will summon an armor and weapon for you. The principle is simple. It's just a modified storage seal. We will start with the weapon. For that we will use the blood you stored away, Naruto explained. As Shikamaru unsealed his blood, it almost fell onto the ground, but Naruto caught it mid-air. He really wanted to know how Naruto did it, but it was most likely a seal, so that had to wait. Thinking about it, he almost flooded Naruto's apartment with his blood. Now you will start to slowly fill this blood with the chakra you stored away over the time. Take your time and unseal small portions of the stored chakra and guide it into the blood. It took Shikamaru 4 hours to mix his chakra with his blood. Naruto also mixed a bit of natural chakra into it. He said that the control would be harder, but that the result would be 3 times better with it. So, now that it is filled, we start with controlling the blood. You will just move it up and down, later try to move to the right side and back. Your control has to be perfect. Shikamaru doubted that he could control this amount of flooding liquid, but Naruto could control water with the mass of a sea. This blood pool is nothing compared to it, so he will have to work hard to get it. He tried it for an hour, but he couldn't make it that all of it move like he wanted. Some of the blood didn't move at all and the other just flooded clumsily in the air. How on earth did Naruto control this amount and even form creatures with it? You are concentrating too much. This doesn't have something to do with technique, it's just pure imagination and willpower. You should image what you want to do, Naruto said. Some of the blood went to Naruto's hand and formed a kunai. It looked hard and sharp, nothing like the liquid before. You have to image what it looks like, how it would feel, what it can do, how sharp it will be. Never forget that your will is forming what you will be holding, so never underestimate it. Shikamaru tried it, but he didn't really get what Naruto tried to explain. He imaged a sharp kunai like Naruto had before, but it formed too slow and it didn't look solid at all. The kunai got destroyed the moment he touched it. This was frustrating. Why doesn't it work? What was he doing wrong? He did it exactly like Naruto did. He had to stand beside Naruto. It was one of the strongest feelings he had recently. How come that it wasn't strong enough to form a simple kunai? This isn't right. What kind of logic was behind this? He trained for hours without getting the slightest of result. His control was lacking and the weapons he shaped were unstable. What was even more frustrating was that his anger of his failure was getting in the way of his concentration. Goddamned, he yelled in frustration, sending the red liquid in all directions around the room. The walls were drawn in blood, the ground dark. Now this is disgusting. Shikamaru was so angry right now that he didn't even jump from the scare he got. He slowly turned around, only for his angry face to morph into one of shock and then fear. Sitting on the other side of the room was Naruto. He was completely soaked in blood and his seal was ruined. This was not good. Naruto looked really angry right now. I really didn't. He could continue as Naruto came in front of him in the next moment. He stood still as he couldn't even move a finger. He wasn't sure what would happen now. He couldn't breathe as Naruto leaned down to his ear. He could smell the blood that was before his nose now. I'm gonna shower now and you will clean this room. We will talk when I'm a little cooled down. Naruto just whispered his words, but it felt like he was scolded for an hour. He could practically feel the disappointment in his voice. The cleaning was slow. He tried to manipulate it back to him but it didn't work. The chakra left the blood by his outburst as he lost control over it and then vanished. This would take at least 4 or 5 hours to clean. How troublesome. Shouldn't you be cleaning instead of daydreaming this time? He yelled in shock. Turning around he saw Naruto standing in the doorway. He had just a pair of boxers. His body was the definition of perfect. His 8-pack was defined, his shoulders broad, his arms and legs showed the strength he had. He blushed as he looked at Naruto's raised eyebrow that clearly said, "Why are you staring? Someone at home?" That brought him back to reality. "Yay, so sorry." Naruto ignored him as he moved over the bloodied floor. He opened his wardrobe and sighed. The inside also got a little bloody. Perfect, just perfect. He will never stay beside Naruto because Naruto will kill him before that. I'm gonna get you some fresh clothes from home for you, Shikamaru mumbled as he dashed out. When he knew one thing for sure, then that Naruto didn't lose his patience that easily, but if he did then you should avoid him. He went home to get some of his clothes, but he didn't think that they would fit him. Maybe he could get some from his father. It was getting late, he should better hurry. He tried to sneak into his parents' bedroom to get the clothes, but couldn't take a single step forward as he was buying with his clan jutsu. His father wasn't the Jonin commander for nothing, but he wasn't as weak as before. He used his own shadow to control himself and with that formed the hand seal for a small barrier. You have gotten stronger, but you are still no match for me. The next moment his shadow was again connected with that of his dad's. Would you like to tell me why you were in our bedroom? His father questioned as they moved out, so that his mother didn't wake up. I wanted one set of your clothes. He tried to keep it short, but it seemed that his father wouldn't let him go. I maybe soaked Naruto's whole apartment in blood and he doesn't have anything to wear, so you're hiding until he cooled down as much as possible. His father just knew him too well. He looked like he was about to explode. I think I ruined his seal. He worked on the entire day, so yeah, hiding is pretty much all I can do. His father was trying not to laugh, but it failed miserable. If his apartment is soaked, then he can sleep here today. The guest room is taken, but you two are young, so sharing your bed shouldn't be a problem, Shikaku said with a grin. Shikamaru wanted to say no, but a hand on his shoulder stopped him. We will make it work, won't we? How on earth did Naruto get behind him and when? So sure the two of them will be his downfall. He will see if he can survive the night. They didn't talk much after Naruto got a set of clothes from his dad. Naruto followed him silently to his room. The atmosphere was heavy. Naruto, I'm really sorry that he was interrupted again. 6 months worth of work ruined. 6 whole months sitting drawing the perfect lines, all gone in one burst of emotions. If you ever don't understand something again then you can come and ask me, clear? Naruto asked in a demanding tone. Yes sir. Good. You can get yourself a new master should something like this ever happen again. Now let us sleep. You will have a lot to clean up tomorrow. Shikamaru was so pale that anybody could have seen his veins. Naruto would kick him out should something like this happen again. On the other hand, it was really a light punishment for 6 months of ruined work. He took his clothes off and moved to his bed, but stopped as he looked at Naruto, who had laid down on the ground with a blanket. He wanted to say something, but Naruto's look told him that he should shut up. It seemed that Naruto tried his hardest not to murder him. Laying beside him wouldn't probably do him any good. Next day wasn't much different from the evening before. Naruto hadn't talked much with him. He just told him to clean his apartment with all means necessary. He of course was in a bad mood because of this. He wasn't someone impulsive like that. How could he make such a mistake? But he always behaved different around Naruto. His laziness vanishes and he feels like he is accomplishing something. He will make sure that doesn't disappoint Naruto like this ever again. Shikamaru, how have you been? Why this long face? Looking down, and yeah, he really looked down. He could see Ken. Ken was always so childlike, happy and energetic. Nothing much, I just disappointed Naruto and now I'm on cleaning duty. Did he really had a long face? He was sure that his lazy face always covered everything. Should I help you with it? Today is my day off from practice, so we can hang out after we finished. Shikamaru thought about it. Naruto did say all means necessary. Sure, they chatted on the way to Naruto's apartment. Thought Ken didn't seem like he wanted information from him over his training with Naruto. The whole village already know that he was Naruto's assistant and some tried to pry all kind of information from him. They arrived at the apartment in 10 minutes and he opened it with his keys. What happened next was that the two of them almost vomited. The smell of blood was so strong and the heat didn't make it any better. Shit, what kind of sick shit is Sensei doing here? Ken looked almost green. It was a wonder that the boy didn't just turned around and left. Yay, that was me. I was just too frustrated and the result was this. Ken had a disgusted look on his face as he looked around the apartment. I'm not gonna ask, Let us just begin and finish as soon as possible. Ken sure had work ethic. He straight up opened all windows first and then started to clean the floor. Shikamaru started with the study room where Naruto's seal still laid. The paper was completely red and with a heat clinging to the floor. He could see some outlines but the ink was already smeared. He sighed as he cleaned it from the floor. It took Naruto 6 months of effort and he destroyed it. Guilt was something he didn't feel often. He always thought that it was a useless emotion. Today thought, he knew quite well why he was feeling guilty. He should make it up to him. But how? Naruto is always giving him something. He never got something back. What could he give Naruto that he couldn't get himself? That would be a good question for later, as he should finish this first. Ken seemed to be a lot faster than him. The small guy sure knew how this worked. It was funny to see the small guy use his chakra just that he could walk up the wall and clean there. I think Ken is here to clean with you, not for you, Shikamaru. Or is there something that I didn't understand right? It was so embarrassing to shriek like that in front of Ken. Namikaze-sensei, it's an honor to meet you again, Ken said with a small bow. The kid beamed at Naruto. Namikaze is fine. I heard that you used a genjutsu in the 1vs1 and that even thought that you are an ninjutsu specialist. Are you learning both or are you changing? It seems like you have a talent for it, Naruto praised, and the other boy smiled so wide that Shikamaru thought his face will fall apart. Thanks Namikaze-san, thought it was just coincidence. I'm an anti-jutsu specialist. It was only the situation that made it possible for me to use a genjutsu, Ken explained. And yet the result was good enough that she couldn't break it. Maybe changing your specialization isn't bad. There isn't that many genjutsu masters out there. Remember to always be unique. Unique is the same as unpredictable. The more your abilities differ from the norm, the harder is it to counter you. Now you two can go and have some fun. I will finish the rest, Naruto said. Thanks sir, I will remember it, Ken said with a beaming smile as he took off. Shikamaru didn't have that much of a choice as he was dragged away. Make sure that Shikamaru pays for your food today. See you tomorrow morning, Shikamaru, and don't be late. Cleaning the rest wasn't hard for Naruto as he just washed it away with his jutsu. He would give Shikamaru this evening before he starts to train him. Morning, that was all Shikamaru could say, as he was still pretty nervous about the ruined seal. Good morning. Naruto wasn't angry anymore, or that is what he could hear out from his tone. I brought your tea and breakfast, Shikamaru said, getting into the apartment. It was completely clean. No one would guess that this was a bloodbath a day ago. Perfect. I'm starving. You go home and get some things that you need to live here for a while. Shikamaru wanted to question what he really meant. You better be back before I'm finished with this. He dashed home. Better do what he wants and question it later. He got clothes and his toothbrush before dashed back. Getting back, he was glad that Naruto was still eating. It was a good idea to get the extra large portion. He sat down and drank his own coffee he bought. The atmosphere was light again. It was something he missed, something that he had messed up for two of them. I will train you from now on, personally I mean. I will sit right next to you and explain everything that you don't understand. That will take its time, so you will stay here for the time being, Naruto explained, and Shikamaru was surprised. He wouldn't have thought that Naruto would teach him even more personally after his mistake. Thanks, I will do my best. They finished their breakfast and coffee before they sat down in the living room. Let us start again, but this time take a smaller amount of blood and mix it with your chakra. He did as he was told. The amount was laughable compared to the amount he had used before. The control was way easier than before. This time Naruto also didn't mix natural chakra in it, what made it even easier. He could move the blood in the air like he wanted and even form a needle with it. There wasn't enough blood to form more the three, but they looked good. Touching it he could feel that they weren't sharp, but the needles were at least solid. He reformed the three needles into an shuriken. This was a good step into the right direction. Good, now try more blood, so that you can form a kunai. He added the amount Naruto had requested. He immediately felt how his control was falling apart. He could feel how the chakra started to vanish. The blood slowly started to move around on its own. His kunai was totally unstable. This amount is your limit. Let us stop here and talk why you lose control, Naruto said as the liquid flooded over to him. He formed the kunai his father was known for and slammed it into the ground. Shikamaru still didn't understand how fluid and chakra made an object strong enough to pierce the floor. More importantly, how can Naruto manipulate his blood and chakra? I really don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I did it just like before with the needles, but it didn't move like I wanted. It was frustrating. The kunai on the ground was sharp and hard. How on earth did Naruto do it? That is because you had no idea what I was talking about the last time, Naruto said as he moved closer to him. He took the kunai from the ground and made the gesture for him to hold his hand out. He had bad feeling about this as Naruto took his hand, sliced it with a blood-red kunai. He tried not to hiss at the pain. It was a burning pain sensation. Naruto didn't even put any kind of pressure on the kunai and it still cut him deep. The blood was coming out from his palm and started to drop on the floor, but Naruto didn't care as he finished the cut. Now you know how it feels, how sharp it really is, Naruto said as he unsealed a box of bandages and started to wrap Shikamaru's palm with it. Naruto then controlled the blood on the floor and made a seal with it. It truly looked impressive to look at a seal floating in the air. The seal started to shrink with just a mere gesture of Naruto's hand until it was small enough to fit in his hand. The bandages turned green the moment the seal touched it. He could practically feel how the blood stopped rushing out of the wound. This will just keep the blood from leaving the body. You will still feel the pain. Naruto was definitely right about the pain. It hurt like hell. He never had a wound this big or deep. The academy always made sure that they didn't hurt themselves. Looking back, this wasn't a good decision. They are all too soft. Sure, it was important that they didn't get too serious injuries, but they were too soft. They couldn't handle pain in the right way. He couldn't concentrate, and that with this small wound. You start training again. I will make us something to eat. Try the needles and make sure they are sharp. He tried to form the needles again. They formed faster than before, but they were still not sharp. Sure, they had a decent tip, but they wouldn't penetrate his skin. It doesn't matter, thought. He made progress. He trained for 45 minutes and he now could form the needles with his eyes closed. He let them fly against the wall and they even stuck. He then disbanded them and reformed them in his hand again. This took him only 3 seconds to repeat. He was sure that his speed had increased a lot. Dinner is ready. Clean the place and yourself before you come, Shikamaru sighed as he sealed his blood away and cleaned the floor and wall. Only now did he notice that he was damn hungry. He swiftly cleaned his face and hands before got into the kitchen. The table in the kitchen was small. It was a wonder that Naruto could place all the dishes he made on it. Next time I tell you to clean yourself, go and take a shower. You reek of sweat if you haven't noticed. Shikamaru blushed as he smelled himself. He was just too hungry to notice it. The dishes looked so delicious. When did Naruto learn to cook like that? Sorry, I was just hungry, Shikamaru said as he took his first bite. His face brightened. This was so delicious. Where did you learn to cook like that? I haven't had something comparable around here, he asked, stuffing more food in. Iwagakure has remarkable cooks. I stayed there for 4 months, Naruto answered. Thought let us talk about your progress. I have seen your needles and have to say that they aren't that bad. However, for bigger objects you need more than chakra control and imagination. You need an unbreakable will. Not only that, but you need to make sure that your chakra submits to your will. Do you understand that? Naruto asked with a serious face. Shikamaru wasn't sure what he meant with that. Make your chakra submit? No, not really, he replied after 5 minutes of thinking. Then let me start from the start. Do you know that chakra has its own will? Naruto asked, and Shikamaru couldn't do more as to shake his head. Chakra had a will. He had never heard something like this before. Then let me explain. You know that we form our chakra with the hand seals we make, to create jutsus, right? Again just a nod. Now by doing that we force our chakra to do what we want. That is why jutsus don't last long or need more chakra over time to keep running. But the truth is that your jutsu could stay much longer if your chakra wanted to help you. It's simple really. If someone just forced you to do something that you didn't want, then what will you do when he can't force you anymore? Naruto asked as he sipped on his tea. I would stop, Why is they? That was so obvious. If what Naruto said is true and he is pretty sure it is, then his understanding of chakra and all jutsus will fundamentally change. Now I'm not saying that chakra has its own will or feelings, no, I would say that it has some kind of routine. Your chakra is in your body from the day you are born, if not before. Your chakra will stay 80% of your whole life in your body. You subconsciously will your chakra to stay in your body. That is of course a good thing, or you would run dry of chakra all the time. The trick is to not just force your chakra at trough hand seals, but also mix it with your will. Theoretically it made all sense to Shikamaru, but how should he mix his chakra with will? So you're saying that if I have my chakra under my will, that my jutsus would be better because my chakra knows what I want to do with this jutsu? Shikamaru asked as his shadow moved around on the ground, what he could do with this knowledge, his shadow moving without command. That is what I'm saying, thought your will must be strong for that. You have to choose something that motivates you, something that can drive you and is more important than other things in your life. Make sure you choose the right thing, because if this thing changes and without your will, then you will lose all the power and control you had before and you have to start from the beginning again. Thank you for watching.